Good morning, everybody. BDL44 coming at you with another video. All right. So, Lakers beat the Celtics last night. Very happy about my young fellas doing what they had to do out there. Um, Austin Reeves, D'Lo, Vando before he got hurt. From what I understand, the X-rays were negative, so we're very happy about the X-ray results there. Um, Looking at just the collection, man. Rui Hachimura didn't have his greatest shooting night, but he definitely contributed. Um, Torian contributed very well as well. I mean, we can't really get too upset at anybody at all last night. Christian Wood was terrible, but other than that, the whole team balled out. Max Christie did great with his minutes. They just had a certain level of pride, like a pride that we've been waiting to see. It might have been the most complete game they played all season when you consider D'Lo and his assists and how he was contributing. Um, you know what I mean? The hot shooting of the team as a whole, the defense that we played on top of that. You just saw guys hustling. You saw guys really getting after it. You saw guys not second guessing where the ball needed to go, and more so just doing what they do naturally as basketball players and showing why they're in this league. And beat the best team in basketball, man. And we have had good showings against good teams, as we know, winning the in-season tournament, having beaten the Clippers this year twice, having beaten this Boston team now. We had OKC, we've beaten them twice. So you got to feel really good about the Lakers going up against contenders. Can we beat anybody else? I don't know. It depends on the night. But this showed that we have more around Bron and AD that can contribute than we may have thought. I mean, Jackson Hayes has just come out of nowhere over the last 3 games and has really been showing us what he could do defensively and offensively. Makes you wonder where the hell that has been all season long and why we thought of him as somebody who couldn't play at all. And now he's out here balling. Some of the fouls that he's gotten over the course of the season have been a struggle for him staying on the floor. And I think that's more so what it is that has him looking like he can't play. Is because every time he gets out there, they call a moving screen or something. So we're going to have him in practice, as I always say, running these reps to try to continue to get better at that so he can show what he could do on the floor. Because if he's in foul trouble, you'll never get to see any of this. But it seems like we're starting to slowly but surely get real value out of this young player. And I mean, he couldn't possibly just suck, right? He was the 7th overall pick, I think. Same year Zion was taken, New Orleans used their other pick on him. So he had to have something to his game, And we're starting to see where he could really contribute on the defensive end, stealing the ball. And I think that's just an anomaly. I don't think anybody saw that coming. So, this is great. I mean, we're starting to see what we have. And, I know I've been on this channel a lot making the case that we need to capture the most value we can for LeBron James upon the idea that he could depart. I mean, if we're going to be worried about D'Lo, more or less using his opt out as a means of leaving us for nothing, why the hell wouldn't we worry about that with the second most important or the very most important player we have in LeBron James? So I've been on this channel vying for us to trade LeBron James, not because I don't like him or because I don't respect what he's done, but because he's made it clear that he's going to play with his son, and I don't think the Lakers can acquire him. And I'm not in the business of letting people walk out the door who are expensive as LeBron James when the rest of my parts aren't worth as much as it needs to for me to reset or retool around Anthony Davis. I don't believe in, just letting things like that happen. And if there's another way to recoup LeBron's value without trading him, if somebody would just give us a bunch of stuff, like an injury provision in the event that LeBron leaves, we just get like 3 first-round picks just because they want to be nice to us, that would be wonderful. I wouldn't trade Bron. If Bron signed an extension right now for 3 or 4 years or something like that, if you want to continue playing like that, I don't trade Bron. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of things that would keep me from trading Bron, because I really had no interest in trading LeBron James at all. Especially someone who's done this much for our team, came through and saved us in all different types of years that he had bad coaching and injuries and fought hard in situations. the championship. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why you don't trade LeBron James. But none more than the idea that he could retire somewhere else anyway upon his own request. I don't believe in letting that happen. I don't. Now, if the Lakers had a handshake, wink wink deal in place to say that they would never trade him upon signing him, then fulfilling that may be something that, is best for their word. But aside from something like that being in place, or no trade clause being in place, letting him retire in our uniform is good. Letting him walk to go play with his son is not. You understand what I'm saying? Now, if he said he wants to retire a Laker, then that's a different way of looking at it, because now you're saying he's never going to play anywhere else. You got the greatest player of all time, arguably essentially saying, I want to end this thing in LA. And I don't, what I mean? My goal is to win a championship with the Lakers and ride off into the sunset. But that's not what he's saying. What he's saying is, I'm willing to leave y'all high and dry to go play with my son. And if you can bring me my son, then we can rock going forward. But it's going to be about who gets him in regards to who gets me. And that's not something I'm willing to do. I will let him go, but not if it means letting him walk. That is not a good decision. And that's why I've been on this camera saying that. Well, now the media is starting to get a whiff of the logic. I don't know if what started this process other than to say, I was on it, and now I'm seeing others get on that. And, it's just the only logical thing to do, man. I hate to be double down on that when now that the peanut gallery's got a hold of it. I don't want to see LeBron James nowhere else, and I don't think we're going to be a better team if we move him. But it ain't about that. It's about, are we going to suck either way? Obviously, if he walks, yes, if we don't get something for him. So that's what you're trying to deal with. And you know what I mean? That's a LeBron James decision. That's not a Laker decision. He made that decision for us, giving us this ultimatum. You know what I mean? To draft his son or bounce. If I could draft his son, then I'm going to choose to draft his son, because I'm not against bringing Bronny in. I like Bronny as a piece, and I'd love to keep LeBron James in that Laker uniform. But because he let the world know that he's going to go play with his son, now you got competition for trying to draft his son. So it's like you open up the door for me to have to make a decision on you. But the thing about it is, I don't know that my front office has been planning for this at all, because they've known this for 4 years and are barely starting to get around to wanting to consider trading him a week before the trade deadline last minute. So it's like, my worry right now is, if we didn't have a plan for this, and if we execute this poorly, we get the wrong return for him, it's going to be a worse decision than trying your best to just bring Bronny in. You got to value him as a rental, is what I always say. If you could get the right return for that rental in this situation, wonderful. If you can't get the right return, and if somebody's offering you Miles Turner and Buddy Hield, then you don't trade LeBron James, because the whole point of this is to try to get a plethora of things you can use to either retool around Anthony Davis or reset your situation upon Anthony Davis's departure. But the point is, you don't want to be left with only one pick, or at the end of this season, 3 first-round picks, as the only war chest you have to trade, when you got so much of a responsibility to keep excellence on your team. You just don't do that. It's not the right way to go. And given the fact that we have had players decrease in value on our team, we've traded away guys for twice of what they're worth, or rather brought back guys for twice less. I just think it's one of those things where you can't afford to let value leave, especially something that's worth so much of what you are on the basketball floor. And it's not about whether or not we'll be better for it, or whether or not we'll appreciate seeing LeBron James run around in other uniforms and all that. He's in control of all of that. He's in control of all that. All he has to do is say, I'm not opting out, I'm signing an extension. But that's not something that you ask him to do, because this is about family. This is about his dream play with his son. This is about him helping navigate his son through the rookie season of his career. And a parent wanting to be near his son when his son is getting ready into something like the NBA, where a lot of things could go wrong, a lot of off the court stuff could happen. I feel like as a father, he would want to be near his son as a way of navigating him through the NBA early on. And that, to me, is a point that I believe could be unwavering when considering whether or not he's going to do it. You know, I was listening to someone on Laker Nation say, well, I mean, if Bronny goes to Cavs, he'll probably go there. But if Bronny ends up in Sacramento, he probably won't follow Bronny. Or if he ends up in somewhere LeBron wouldn't likely want to play, he won't follow Bronny there. I don't think we're looking at this correctly. As I was listening to homie from Laker Nation say this, I was saying, no, you're looking at it like you're looking at Bronny, and you're looking at it like you're looking at those basketball places as far as where you would want to play. He's looking at this as a father. And if his son gets traded to the NBA Boondocks, he's going to want to be there for his first game. He's going to want to be a part of that first game. You know, every NBA father would love to play with their son. Every NBA father would love to be on the team bus with their son. You know what I mean? To make sure that everything's going the way it's supposed to keep the thotties awake. You know what I mean? This type of stuff. Bron has a chance to be there to navigate his son's career on and off the floor for at least the first 2 years. He's going to take advantage of what every father can't do. What Dell Curry couldn't do for Steph. What Jelly Bean couldn't do for Kobe. You know what I mean? That type of stuff. And so, for me, that's unwavering. That's a father saying, I'm going to be there for my son. I'm gonna be at all his games. And this is a father who probably didn't get a chance to go to every game because he was in the NBA. You know? And you couple that with the notion that he almost lost Bronny last year with the heart thing, it's even more so logical for me to think that he's looking at this as a father who wants to be as close as possible in the situation. And so for me, it's like, I'm not looking at this as a either or. He already made his decision. Now, whether or not he's going to follow through on that is just about the execution of doing things. Just like I thought Kawhi Leonard was coming to the Lakers and went to the Clippers, never thought he would do it. Who knows? People sometimes do things you don't expect them to do. But as far as I'm sitting, from where I'm sitting, this is bigger than basketball, man. And because it has basketball attached to it, it's a pretty easy decision. If Bronny gets drafted to the San Antonio Spurs, LeBron gonna sign a deal with the San Antonio Spurs. If Bronny gets drafted to the Magic, he's going to the Magic. If he gets drafted to Oklahoma, he's going to Oklahoma. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna be left high and dry because we didn't do what we were supposed to do and being able to anticipate that. And that's a problem I wouldn't have if I'm in their front office. That's a mistake I ain't gonna make because I am anticipating this. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like, yo, once Bron put it out there that this was what he was intending to do, and once it started being clear that other teams naturally would be looking to draft Bronny or try to target him on a draft board, that's when it became clear to me that a team, us, who don't have no first round picks, other than the 29, who probably won't be able to offer any first round picks till after the draft, you know, when the other two kick in that we're able to trade, with stuff on this team that we can't value so high that we outbid other teams, it's just logical to think we don't get Bronny. This ain't a situation where you can expect for him to be able to navigate himself to the Lakers like Austin Reeves going undrafted, because someone's going to draft him. That's the reality of it. Someone's going to draft him. And you can't expect people to give you those picks because they know how valuable they are to you. You don't have to return. They're valuable to the rest of the league because of it. So it's like, this is stuff you just got to anticipate when the market hits and Bronny's a guy that you are trying to target. You got to anticipate not being able to get him. And in the event you can't get him, then you're left with Bron departure. And that's something that's a fork in the road, just like we were talking about with D'Lo. I'm not willing to walk toward if I'm the Laker organization. I'm not going to let that happen. It's my responsibility to not, as a matter of fact, because I got Anthony Davis here. And so Bron is smart enough to know all of this. His representation is smart enough to know all of this. And he put his Laker tenure at risk when he let it be known that he was going somewhere else to play with his son. Now, if he would have said, I can't wait for my son to get into the league so I could dunk on his head, you don't have to think none of this if you're me. But because I'm responsible in my mind for keeping our team afloat for the next several years, and I already know he's like 39 years old, bro, I'm 39 years old. I don't expect him to play that much longer anyway. So for me, it's like, nah, I'm gonna capture what I need to for him to in his stead. I'm gonna get back a return for LeBron James that's going to be plentiful, and then I'm gonna go after Bronny. Then I'm gonna take some of that, and I'm gonna try to get the pick that allows me to get LeBron James, and I'm gonna have what's on top of that, along with Bronny and LeBron returning to my team by default, because I would be the one who gets Bronny. You see what I'm saying? I got more to trade for if I want to go for Bronny. And if I'm not able to land that, then I got my rebuilding process in place with all these picks and players or whatever comes with LeBron James' departure. But I'm not going to let him go through that fork in the road with me being worth less than a lot of teams just to lose him anyway. You know what I mean? Or just to get him back anyway. It's like I can get more by letting him go on as a rental somewhere else. And given the fact that my team doesn't appear to be able to win with him right now, why am I going to go through this process as if a rental of a win now superstar is going to drag me to the finals? I can't even get dragged to a 500 basketball club right now. We barely beating teams that we should beat, and that's because of what we have isn't worth as much as it should be, and our coach isn't very good. So it's like, if I let LeBron James stay on as a rental for the next 6 months without a guarantee he's going to stay after that, then the odds of me not making a championship out of this thing is pretty high. Odds of me missing the playoffs pretty high. And the odds of him leaving because of that is pretty high. So it's like, what are we really doing? What are we really doing? I've heard some people make the argument that LeBron James doesn't determine winning and losing. And I mean, we still lose the same games with him on the floor if Anthony Davis is not on it, that kind of thing. And it's the truth. He does determine winning and losing with Anthony on the floor because he can help Anthony quite a bit. But as far as whether or not we win games or lose games, if Anthony Davis is on the floor, I think we have a good chance of winning some of the games LeBron James is not in. I can't say the other way around. He just doesn't translate to that. He can have amazing games, but if Anthony on the floor to play that defense, stuff like that, if he don't have that big man down there to rim protect, stuff like that, the game, we still lose. And this has been the truth for about 2-3 years now. That's not one of the determining factors for why I would trade him, unfortunately. Not for me. But I can see why others would. You know what I mean? Like, yo, I need to keep Anthony Davis winning. Because Anthony Davis is a younger guy. Anthony Davis is a defensive guy. Anthony Davis rebounds. Anthony Davis steals the ball. All this different stuff. I'm not saying Anthony Davis is a better player than LeBron James, but he just more so affects the roster's winning. And so it's like, yo, if I got a piece like that, I could bring him another running mate and still win. You understand what I'm saying? But if I let half of my value go out the door, I likely lose him too. So like, these are the hard things that people have to say, man. These are the things that a lot of people are afraid to address, it seems like, in the back, behind the curtain with the Lakers. And I just don't think you have to go down this path. You don't have to go down this path. You could trade him, get a good return for him at a rental value, and go forward with more safety and security in your franchise for your future. Worst case scenario, he goes, plays with his son somewhere, wins a championship. You look stupid, but you still have a lot to show for that. Maybe you don't get better. Maybe you stay a middle of the pack team because you make bad decisions. What it is you get back. It's a lot of things can go wrong. Don't get it twisted. He's likely gonna make us pay when we see him and all that. That's cool. That's how it goes. But at the end of the day, man, you just can't let him walk, fam. And that's the bottom line. You cannot let him go somewhere else, play for them, help them win, and you have nothing to show for it. That is absolutely something I'm not letting happen. You don't have a no trade clause, so we ain't letting that happen. That's what it really comes down to, man. I don't actually think the Lakers are going to do what it is I'm saying they're going to do, or what I'd like to see them do. I think we're headed off the plank with his value, because I don't think people are going to pull the trigger on a deal. But that ain't going to stop me from telling y'all what I see there. It ain't going to stop me from telling y'all the truth, that I think he's gone. And I think it's not because of him hating the Lakers or because of Darvin Ham, because we suck. It's because his son is coming into the league and he wants to be there for him, to not only support him, but to navigate him through the treacherous waters of the NBA as a rookie. And it's hard to do that when you're on the other side of the other side of the league, flying all over the league, and you only see him twice a year, only see him 4 times a year. That ain't gonna cut it. And that's not what this is. You know what I mean? Not with what it is that he's talking about. So when you look up, if he's wondering whether or not he should do this, and his wife is looking forward to him being able to navigate Bronny's career over the first year or two, it's like, even if he's teetering on it, she probably ain't gonna let him teeter on it for too long. That kind of thing. So it's like, look, if I'm to read all those tea leaves, bro, the Lakers ain't got a shot in hell unless they get Bronny on this team. And if we don't have a shot in hell to get Bronny on this team, or if the only thing that'll help us have the trade package to get Bronny on this team is trading LeBron himself, then damn it, you know what you got to do. That's what it really comes down to. And if Bron wants to be a Laker, you know what he need to do. Abandon this. Abandon this immediately. You get on, you do a press conference. You say you want to play with your son, but not at the risk of losing your tenure with the Lakers. That's how you stop this. And I'm not saying that's what he should do. In fact, I don't honestly think that is what a good father will do. But I'm not also certain that he wants to lead the Lakers. I'm not certain he doesn't have a plan to funnel his son to the Lakers. And if you know you're going to funnel your son to the Lakers, then don't have us sitting up here thinking this is what we got to deal with. Simple. Simple as that. Don't have Laker Nation thinking they about to lose you for nothing if you got a plan to secretly funnel your son to the Lakers outright. Because that would put us through this for no reason, and you putting your trade value on the table for somebody like me to get up here and say, yo, get him out of here before we lose him for nothing. You know what I mean? Don't play. In other words, don't play games with me. not this guy, not this Laker fan. Not when I'm trying to figure out what the heck to do with my team and we gonna suck already. Because remember, I went through Robert Sacre. I went through Kendall Marshall. I had a year where I couldn't watch my team because we had so little talent. You saved us from that. But please don't think that the only way we felt we were going to be any good with that is to have you on the team. No, once you came here, you gave me the ability to trade you so that don't ever happen again. And fam, that is exactly what I think makes sense for me. Is to never let that happen again. By hook or damn crook if I can help it. So if you're going to get me Paolo Banchero, if you're going to get me Trae Young, if you're going to get me a running mate for Anthony Davis that could someday be replaced by Luka Doncic, man, that is exactly what I'm going to do. Do you understand what I'm saying? That is exactly what I'm going to do. If you're going to get me the first overall pick 3 years from now so I can take the best prospect that year, man, you understand what I'm saying? I'm not going to let LeBron James walk and then me be out of the running for all the young talent that I need to sit here for 4 and 5 bad years waiting for my picks to replenish, only for this front office to mortgage him anyway for a guy who's going to likely be there, Mitch Richmond. You know what I'm saying? Just a good star running around on a bad team for like 7 years. Man, I see where that path go. I'm going to get up out of that early. You understand what I'm saying? And my return for LeBron James is going to help me with that if I do it correctly. Now, if I execute that incorrectly, I'm shooting myself in the foot. And that is what I'm worried about with this front office. Some of the decisions they made, I'm not sure they're going to execute this correctly, especially last minute. But if it's done correctly, we're going to have plenty to show for it. And LeBron James go play 1 year, Philadelphia, something like that, play 1 year in Minnesota, something like that, half a year, help them win a championship. He'll be happy because he'll have his best opportunity at the ring. Lord knows he don't have that here right now with Darvin Ham. And then he'll be able to sail off away from them, having them signed up for that by giving him away for rental, trading rental price for him. Maybe they could get his son and keep him, whatever that team, whoever they are. But us, man, We need to get picks or young players. We need to get a whole plethora of stuff. We need to go to the Rockets, get Jalen Green, Jabari Smith, Amon Thompson, Cam Whitmore, Alpi. I want all them dudes, man. Send them here. And you can have LeBron James play with him and maybe whatever you can return. Because I'm going to take all of it, basically. But that's what I'm thinking. Because at this point in time, it makes no damn sense for the Lakers to just let him just walk when half of what we have is Anthony Davis. You know, half of it's Bron, half of it's Anthony. The other bit of what we have is role players that we could barely package together for a B-level star, man. To be completely honest with you, we need a lot more Austin Reeves games like last night to be able to play his value up. And D'Lo's in the same boat as Bron. He could leave for nothing. So it's like, we ain't doing none of that. We ain't doing none of that. Now, if I was the OKC Thunder or the Utah Jazz, and I had a plethora of picks and players and a future, and LeBron James just gonna walk, he could probably walk because I got so much in his stead any damn way. You know what I'm saying? I got so much, but that ain't what the Lakers got. That ain't what they got. And given the fact that the most important thing we got other than LeBron is Anthony Davis, and you don't want to trade him, you really don't have a lot. You know what I mean? It's like not being liquid when you need cash. Now you got to start selling property at half price. I ain't doing none of that. Anthony Davis can stay a Laker so long as I have a lot of other stuff. And right now, the only way I'm going to get a lot of other stuff is if I trade LeBron James for that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't make sense to trade him last year when he was on a one-year deal, even though I would have got even more for him then. 2 reasons. We were still competing, got to the Western Conference Finals. We didn't know what this year held. You know what I mean? And also the foot injury, you probably would get more for him now being healthy than last year. But, like, these are the type of things that if you're a good organization, you already had in mind, because him talking about going to play with his son, I'll play anywhere with him. No, you don't. You're playing with your value here as it pertains to whether or not I'm valuing you staying on my basketball team. When you say stuff like that, I got to save myself, man. So that's what we telling y'all, man. It ain't personal. This ain't one of them weird channels that we sit up here and just bash LeBron James all day with hate in our heart. I listened to some dude last night. I'm like, what the heck is on? What are y'all on, bro? Like, they just sit up there and just cuss LeBron James out all night long. And it's like, man, go get a therapist. Seriously. Some of y'all is like, y'all let ESPN warp y'all minds when y'all was like 12 years old about the fact that you need to hate LeBron James. Y'all grew up hating this dude like, you know, the homie would sound like Uncle Ruckus, bro. Seriously. It's like, damn, y'all know. Anyway, I'm not going to give that channel any light. But he was going in a little too much to where it was like, bro, this is just pure hatred. I don't roll like that, man. I wasn't raised like that. I don't hate people. I'm trying to fix my basketball team. You know what I'm saying? If y'all want to roll with the narrative that you should hate LeBron James, that's something you need to pray about, man. Seriously, it ain't that serious. But as far as I'm concerned, this ain't personal. This ain't beef. This ain't even dislike. If anything, I'm appreciating him. But what I'm not gonna do, as I told y'all before, is in order to respect you, cut off my arm. I'm not gonna do that. If cutting off my arm is the only way to respect you, I can't respect you. It ain't personal, but I do need both of my arms. So that's how it has to be, man. He would be traded before the deadline. It's the only way to do it. If I were in control, I would move him. And I'd move him for a lot. And if I can't get a lot, then he doesn't get moved. Because the rental's worth more to me than whatever garbage trade they're trying to send back my way. So I'm not taking no Klay Thompson and Evan Fournier contracts and Jonathan Kuminga or in 1 first-round pick. We're not doing that. I know a rental price is less than what his regular price would be on a 4-year deal. But I'm not going to take... I'm not going to let someone fleece me for the revenue off the court for which LeBron James will provide as a rental, which could be upwards of probably like $2 billion for their franchise. You're going to pay a whole freaking lot for a LeBron James rental, not just because of what he can do on the court, but most definitely because of what he can do off of it for you in a short period of time. So you're going to give me a lot. And if I don't get a lot, I won't give him up. I'll let him walk, because the object of the game is to not take back garbage, because there is a chance he opts in. There is a chance you can get an extension with him. Maybe that chance is worth more to me than scraps and bad players and second rounders and a bunch of bull crap that I know they're going to try to offer us in this circumstance. So that's what you're weighing. the opportunity and the possibility of him changing his mind and staying with you holds some weight. So you hold that over the teams that want to give you garbage for him, or dump bad contracts on you for him, or give you second round picks instead of first. So that's what I gotta say, man. We'll see what the team does. I'm hearing the rumors. They're saying somebody came out and said that Lakers are looking to make a trade for LeBron James, trying to find suitors, and they found a suitor or something like that. We'll see if they actually do something like that. I honestly don't believe it. I'll believe it when I see it. But I'm telling y'all, man, I would have already had this plan in place a year and a half ago, man. If I was in the Laker front office, and LeBron James would have known it, he would not be caught off guard by none of this if I were in place. Because at the end of the day, certain things are understood to be you saving yourself from the possibility of things going wrong. And if he didn't want you to have that in mind, I don't think he even brings this information to the forefront 2 years ago or however long it's been. I don't think he does that. He's smart enough and careful enough to know not to do that. If he don't ever want to be traded in his career, you definitely don't go around telling people that you're going to opt out potentially to go play with your son. You don't tell people that. You expect to be traded. And so that's what it is, man. He should expect it. He should expect it. And I don't think his feelings should be hurt, man. At the end of the day, because what it comes down to is he gets an opportunity to play with his son. Now, this opens up the door for him to not have the Lakers holding him back as a means of it. You're leaving the Lakers to go play with your son. Nah, you'd be leaving the Wolves to go play with your son. Ain't nobody gonna trip on you for that. For a plethora of reasons, but none more than the fact that you just got there at this point. So that's what it is, man. That's what it is. Bron going somewhere. If I'm running things anywhere but the Clippers, I'm not sending him there. But as far as everywhere else, yeah, I send him somewhere, bro. I send him somewhere to get a good pick returns. It's got to be picks for me. Maybe some young players, but it has to be the right young players. I'm not just going to trade them for any old body. As I said, Paolo Banchero, Trae Young. I don't even know if I want to trade him for Trae Young, to be honest with you. But that's the type of player I need back, man. I need somebody real. You ain't gonna give me just any old player. It ain't happening. Minnesota cannot offer me Karl Towns. No, I ain't doing that. He has to be somebody, man. So that's why I'll take the picks instead, to be honest with you. Plus, if I take back picks for him, he gets to go play with whoever's there. So if I'm sending him to New York, they don't have to gut any of that. He gets Brunson, he gets Juju when he comes back, he gets he gets to play with all them dudes. DiVincenzo, I don't need none of them on my team. Just give me the picks. Because as long as Darvin's on this team, we're not winning now. If I'm being real with you, we're not winning now. And I don't think we're going to be able to get back Brunson. You're not going to be able to get back someone's A1 for Bron at this point. They're not going to do that. They're not going to send you Giannis. They're not going to send you Wemby. You know what I mean? That's not... Because he's going to want to go there and play with those players to win now. That's the whole point of getting the rental. So you're going to take back picks if you're doing it my way. And you're going to take back unprotected picks or swaps. Plethora of them, possibly breaking the record. That's how you do it. And then you take that. You let Anthony Davis play out the season because he's on contract for many years. And at this point, you put yourself in a position at the end of the season to take that plus the picks that you have going forward and make a trade that can allow yourself an opportunity to kind of give him a running mate. Or, like I said, enough in your back pocket to give yourself an opportunity to rebuild. Because otherwise, if he wants to leave, you'll have so much in his stead and Bron coming back. So that's the plan, man. Hopefully the Lakers figure it out, man. Hopefully they figure out what's best for them so they can have the player they want in place post LeBron. Because if you don't make sure you have plenty in your back pocket, you ain't going to get that player. You're just going to be watching that player go to Miami, New York, or wherever. And you're going to be going up against the Wembys and going up against Lucas who aren't going anywhere. And you ain't going to have nothing to show for it. You know what I mean? Like I said, you're going to have Mitch Richmond in the old Sacramento. If anybody knows how that went, Mitch Richmond was a fantastic Hall of Fame level player, but his team was sub 500 for like 7 years in a row. And he didn't get a championship till he came play with us at the end of his career. And it's just, there's no way to run your franchise. Just get you a Mitch Richmond and go out there and lose. Absolutely not. So for me, I'm not letting that happen. I ain't going to do that to nobody. I'm not doing it to myself. So that's pretty much what I got to say, man. That's exactly my whole point of view, man. I hope everybody enjoyed this video. Like I said, I ain't no hater. You know what I mean? If anything, I'm appreciating the fact that LeBron is a good dad and wants to be there for his son. And since I can't secure him an opportunity to do that here, you know, we gonna make sure we take care of what we gotta take care of on our end. Just like he gonna take care of his family. And that's how I gotta be, man. You know, name on the front. BDL44. I thank y'all for watching.